Good job. Our next speaker is Jim Whatley, and for a long time he said, "Why don't you have me as a speaker?" And I says, "Well, you haven't had any of that experience." And he says, "Well, I've had a lot of out-of-body experiences." And then I started to think, and I changed my way of thinking. James has had a lot of out-of-body experiences, which have taught him a lot, which actually helped him become a certified medium. 1971? Wow. Anyway, let's give a big hand for James Whatley.
You get the right name?
No, I haven't.
All right, Ken. There we go.
Good thing they
Awesome,
got it.
thank you. Begin somewhere. In my case, in my mid-20s, I was working for a bank. You hear me okay?
No.
And that's better. How's that?
Holding your hand.
That's better. Okay. So I went to get my shirts done. And the lady behind the counter was a medium. I had no clue. I was about 25. And across the aisle from the counter was a magazine rack, and there was this little magazine called Fate. In the magazine was an article about astral projection. I had no idea. So I read that. Around that time, you know, after reading that, I thought, I need to learn more. So, short while later, I purchased this book. This is a first edition, 1966. Study and Practice of Astral Projection book. I still have it. So I read the book, and I thought, well, I will see if I can do this, right? I was living in a old home in Lodi, California. And I had an upstairs apartment, and the walls went like that. I paid $50 a month for this apartment. So I was going to practice a technique, and basically what you're taught is a auto-hypnotic method. Relax the toes, the ankles, and so forth, up your legs, through your torso, and so on. It's an auto-hypnotic technique. So I started practicing it. It took me 3 months. I was kind of timid about it, a little bit scared about it. I was in total darkness. And as I would look into the darkness, I saw a whole series of pairs of eyes in the darkness. Well, that's kind of spooky. Remember, I'm a neophyte at this point. So it began. So once I started getting over my fear, I started hearing, this is what's called a clairaudient sound, which is a clear hearing. It's this intracranial sound that you hear, no one else hears. So as I began to lift out of my body, I felt a staccato, rumbling type of sound. It was a real low sound, and it was something like this. I don't know if everyone experiences that, but I did. So finally, I got enough courage, I went out, and I could see myself. Well, this is pretty cool. So I started having more, and I had involuntary ones. And this went on for years, and to this day. So, what did this do for me? Number one, it became a catapult to get me out of any religion, because I belong to a whole bunch of them. I've been sprinkled in oil and dunked, the whole thing. Oh, did all that stuff. And whenever I would ask any of those people questions, they would put me in the kook category type of thing, you know. So I learned that maybe that's not for me. So, wow. I began to start reading. I have a huge library. If you see me afterwards, I'll tell you the gateway to take a look at that, because it took 3 months to build it. So you can go in there and this book might be tasty or this one, they're all categorized. So that's available to you if you want to see me afterwards. So that thirst for knowledge is insatiable. Just last night I was into Amazon and I was looking at someone else's book. Well, gee, I don't have that one. Well, this would be pretty good. So that was in the mid-60s. This August, I will be 75 years old. This will represent 50 years of this soul's particular incarnation to absorb as much as he can, to relate to as many people as possible, to help wake up as many people as possible, to show them that there's so much more. The veil that Suzanne talks about, you know what? That's a very thin membrane. What she does, or Kent does, or I do, everyone can. It's not just to particular people. We've done our inner work. We, in some cases, we like to absorb literature and experiences. It goes on. The exciting part of it is that we get a great fulfillment out of the whole deal. It is so fulfilling. It's so nourishing. We learn that the creator of all loves us way beyond what we think about love. In my case, I have a particular phenomena that's been occurring for about 5 years. There's a little book by, pink book, Angel Numbers by Doreen Virtue, like 0 to 999. About 5 years ago, I'm a side sleeper. I had that book on my nightstand, I still do today, and I have a little clock. And one morning, real early, I don't remember the time, I had like a French telephone type of ringing, right? Clairaudience, right? Ring, 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 ring. Oh, man, what's this? And I said, you know what? I think something's going on here. So I looked at the little clock, which gave me number, right? I grabbed the book and looked it up. I said, oh, this is pretty cool. I mean, there was a time I had them in a Word file, and today I get them. I just had one the other day. I send myself a text, so I got a whole log of text, and then I take and forward that to some of my friends or clients. And I had asked many times, is this spirit guide? Who is this, some master? Where's all this coming from? And I'm a dowser. I've been dowsing since forever. I don't know if you know what dowsing is. It's using a pendulum. So finally got down to the realization that the Creator was talking to me and found this way that I could relate to in sending these messages. So then, this is great. I get more. And the thing is with this type of phenomenon, if you want to call it that, or anything else that you do, there's a action that takes place from the creative source called the Law 51. So you think, well, what is that? Whenever, particularly your subconscious buys into something to put into place into the conscious level, whenever that is accepted, right? And at the conscious level, well, this is good, this feels good, this is right, you get more. Because it goes over the tipping point of 50%, that's where the term Law 51 comes in, and then more of that type of thing starts happening to you. In my case, with the Angel Number book and those things, I began very much like Neil Donald Walsh to have a conversation with God. The fact is, God talks to everyone. It may be through a little number book, or however it may be, there are signs that come to us, and all you have to do is recognize it. Once you recognize and accept that the Creator talks to you, you can have an ongoing dialogue with the Creator. So I have questions going on with me. In an instant, I get this message. It's going to be all right, or this is going to happen, or for this person, whatever it might be. It happens instantly. This also means that we have to take a responsibility. And I have found, I've had circumstances 30 years ago, I still remember to this day, where I had a certain circumstance where I needed something. I didn't have the money for it. And so what occurred about a half hour later in this particular episode, I went to a place and it gave me the thing. So the Creator provides. He provides with His love, He provides with the messages, and you have the ongoing dialogue, what's going on with your life. Everyone else can. I'm no different. No one that hangs a shingle out, so to speak, is any different. All of us can. All of us can. And that's this book. This one here, I also recommend very highly. And this fellow here, Louis Venero, Demystifying the Out-of-Body Experience. And you think, well, what are the benefits for doing this? And I have to let you know, everyone does it. Everyone. You go to sleep, you lift out. And the dream that you think you have, or the conversation with your mother that's passed away at the seaside, you really were there, and you did talk with her. That happens a lot. So he says here, and as to a benefit, promoting increased happiness and general well-being, improving interpersonal relationships, losing the fear of death. I have zero fear of death. That doesn't mean I want it to happen in the next 5 minutes, but it does mean that when it occurs, I know, for me, as a fact, I will continue. John Lennon once said, you know, dying is like getting out of one car into another. He said that. So you can contact your relatives or friends who have passed away, understanding that the physical life more profoundly and why it is the way it is. As Suzanne says, this is a schoolhouse. This is 1%. 1% of the spiritual or heavenly world. We are in a living hologram, if you will, of the spiritual world. You could call it the Truman Show, maybe. That was a cool movie, right? Remember that? So, this reality as we perceive it with the five senses in the third dimension is a experiential, because we have free will, of the soul's blueprint. Believe me, we picked it all out. We picked our friends, we picked this meeting, we picked our wives, we picked our husband, we picked our children, we picked all that stuff out. And then we didn't have the experience. So what I've learned out of all of it is to be more and more observational. Why this and why that, and what am I experiencing with person A, B, and C, and so forth. So I take a look at that. I take it very seriously. And you develop a wide-angle lens out of the whole thing. And it is so fulfilling because you pick up energies with people. I pick it up immediately. And that comes from being an observer, comes from a young man, I had no idea why, began watching people. And you know, you can, with this under your belt, see someone and know in just a few minutes tons of stuff about them. So, and tons of stuff about yourself. You help other individuals while projected? Absolutely. Replacing beliefs about what you have. So the benefits for conscious, voluntary, out-of-the-body experiences goes through the roof. I would suggest that anyone that's really wants to grab onto that idea, get this book. Another very famous author, this is William Pullman. He's written many books, and this is also excellent. Besides the books, there's a fantastic thing on the internet called YouTube. I go there a lot. You can go there and listen to tons of his videos and other authors without even purchasing the book. So that is some ways where you can learn, let's say without getting a big stack of books. My library is so filled, all the bookcases are filled, and I have books lining up in my bedroom along the wall now because I can't stop it. And maybe Suzanne will key into me and say, James, haven't you read it now? I don't know. I like it. It's fun. It's fun. So, the out-of-body experience is for everybody. You have the phenomena like what I mentioned. You can invite more of that. And how to start to initiate some of that, Deepak Chopra said very clearly, you meditate. You meditate. Wayne Dyer has a new Wishes Fulfilled program, and he has a CD, meditation CD, about the I am. That's another suggestion. Get yourself a copy of that. You don't have to get the whole program. Go on Amazon and just buy the CD. And it's an excellent CD all about I am that I am. So that's what my experience has been in helping many people that come to me for counsel or a class to open their intuitive abilities. Everyone has it. I want to close today with a statement made by a master teacher. I think we all know him. So what he said in his last words, in his language, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, as best as I can pronounce it. My Lord or my God, for this I was kept. That's what he said, which basically means he was fulfilling his life purpose. Just like all of us are. I'm fulfilling my life purpose. And in August, coming up, 75, and I will have a party. Anyone that wants to come to my place and bring food. You don't have to bring a gift. You can bring food. That's okay. I'm going to have a party, and maybe my daughter will come in from Omaha and join me for my 75th party. That's in the latter part of August. I'm a Leo Virgo, so August 22nd. So there you are, my friends. I'm so glad that I was able to come today and speak from my heart about the potential that all of us have. Everyone in this room is and have been, maybe for a second, doesn't matter if you got a business card, you're hanging out your seat, you have had experiences in your life that were mediumistic or psychic. Psychic, from the Greek, psyche, meaning self or mind. That's all that it is, psychic. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
But never been seen one, or probably wouldn't have met one had I. But here's the reality. Almost 3 years exactly after my experiences touching this face of God that I thought, in this dream that I thought was the most vivid, peaceful experience of my life, I thought, still do. 3 years later, I get a calendar at Christmas time from my mother, big famous thing. You know, everybody probably has a mom who does the calendar, and there's family photos. And there we all fight for the cover. That's a big thing. Everybody wants to be on the cover. I'm no different. So here I am dying, and I'm looking at this calendar going, I better be on the cover. I'm not on the cover. But on my birthday month, I open up, and there's an old picture I'd never seen before. And it was a man's face. That man's face was the same one in the light. The man's face was my grandfather, my father's father, who died 22 years before my birth. I'd never seen a picture of him in my life. It's called a veridical perception of something that you didn't know at that time. And interestingly, statistically and research-wise, people usually take, I heard some of you talk about it, 2 to 3 years before you actually realize you've had an experience. I thought it was a dream. In a time where I was too sick to dream, but nonetheless, that's what I just didn't know what to call it. So I think that should answer that question.
James?
You know, the other night, I have a large movie library, and my best friend forever, P.J. Anderson, is also a roommate now. We watched by Centennial Man, Robin Williams. And it came to me, this is why, because we had a lot of choices to watch the film. We watched this was about a robot that lived 200 years, and his whole quest was to be more human. So I thought, this is a huge message for me. Why? Why did I embark on this journey to learn to experience? And it comes down to a single denominator. My soul self wanted to, and still does, experience all that is possible, to learn or to embrace as many people and to help awake as many people. So it had a profound effect on me. I had tears in my eyes watching this old film about a robot that wanted to be human. And he did. He went through all kinds of mechanical changes to become human. So I would say, why? Why for me to embark on this journey that doesn't seem like it wants to end? All of us have that soul self, what I call the soul self, that has the body. It's not the other way around. You think, well, yeah, I have the soul. No, the soul has you. That's really how it works. It's really how it works. So I am enjoying my transformation and how others are transformed. I see it in all kinds of people. Wherever you go, you interact with people, it is part of soul's purpose to learn unconditional love. To tell them how much you love them, how appreciated you are that they're even here. Here's the deal. You chose to be here. You chose to be here. You chose to be here this evening. You chose to have the life that you have. Your belief creates your reality, and everything is a choice. And I'm so glad that I chose this particular mission for this time around.